Hello everyone, my name is Nikita and I'm from the Bodhi Academy. Today we are going to start with a new chapter from 9th Standard Science textbook, that is chapter number 4, Structure of Atom. Okay, in the last chapter number 3, we have seen what is an atom. Okay, and we have understood that atoms are indivisible particles. So today we are going to study what is the structure of the atom. In this video we will see what is the structure of atom and what are the contents present inside an atom. Okay, when we talk about this chapter, that is structure of atom, the contributions of scientists and chemists involved in deducing the structure of atom is very important. Okay, so we will start with seeing some of the contributions of some of the scientists. Okay, now first of all, before going into the actual structure of the atom, we need to know what are the charged particles. Okay, charged particles means the ones carrying the charges. We have studied charged species in the last chapter, right? And they were ions, positively charged and negatively charged species. Over here we will be studying the charged particles in matter. What does the charged particles in matter mean? Okay, to this there are some contributions of scientists in revealing the presence of charged particles of the atom. Okay, so first of all, in 1900 it was known by 1900 that atom was not a simple indivisible particle, but it contained at least one subatomic particle. Okay, so in 1900 it was understood that atom is not just an indivisible particle, but inside the atom we have some other particles. Okay, and because it was inside the atom, it was called as a subatomic particle. Okay, inside the atom. So the subatomic particles, what were they? The first subatomic particle was electron, which was identified by J.J. Thomson. Okay, so J.J. Thomson identified the first subatomic particle, that is electron. Electron identified by the scientist J.J. Thomson. Okay, now another scientist, this was before the electron could be identified, E. Goldstone. Okay, E. Goldstone in 1886 he discovered the presence of new radiations in gas discharge. Okay, when the gas was discharged, he saw that there were some radiations and he named them as canal rays. Later it was he observed that they were positively charged radiations, which led to discovery of the subatomic particle, and this subatomic particle was a proton. Okay, and it was positively charged. Okay, so first of all, electron discovered by J.J. Thomson, it was a negatively charged species, negatively charged, and the mass of the electron was negligible. Okay, almost it had no mass. Okay, now the second subatomic particle which was discovered but before the electron, this was in 1900 and this was in around 1886. It was the proton. Okay, and it was discovered by scientist E. Goldstein. This was positively charged and it had mass. Okay, it had mass. It was said that it had mass twice to that of the electron. Okay, so it had more mass than the electron, but electron had negligible mass. Now, so these were the two subatomic particles which were discovered first. Now inside the atom, From this it was observed that inside an atom, okay, inside an atom, both the electrons and the protons were present. Electrons were negatively charged, protons were positively charged. Both were present inside an atom. The presence of both these oppositely charged particles, subatomic particles, inside an atom made this atom, okay, balanced, to have a balanced charge. Okay, so they have a balance of charges and the atom was neutral. So bits and bits of the structure of the atom, bits and bits of structure of atom were introduced. Like what they had electron, they had protons, and both were present inside the atom, which gave it a balanced charge and it was neutral. This information was understood, but what was important was how this, what is the structure, how these electrons and protons were arranged inside the atom. Okay, what was the structure, and secondly, what, in what way it was present, and how it was present, what was the pattern of arrangement, that was not understood by them. So later it was important to understand the actual structure of the atom. Okay, so now we will be seeing which scientist gave its contributions in understanding the structure of the atom. The first model which was proposed was Thomson's model of an atom. Okay, Thomson's model of an atom was proposed by the scientist J.J. Thomson. Okay, in his proposal, he said that the atom was considered to be similar to an Christmas pudding, with the electrons in a sphere of positive charge were like currents in a spherical Christmas pudding. So this was considered as to be a Christmas pudding, and the sphere, the outside sphere, was positively charged and the electrons were just embedded inside the positively charged sphere. The electrons were negatively charged, and this were considered as the black currants in the Christmas pudding. Okay, for example, if you consider a cake and if you consider the dry fruits, okay, then the outer part, the cake, the actual cake is positively charged, and the dry fruits are, which are there, they are negatively charged. So this gave a idea that both were present. So he said that the atom is present in such a way. Okay, so he said that, or it could be also considered as a watermelon, wherein the positive charge in the sphere, the positive charge in the atom is spread all over the red edible part of the watermelon, while the electrons are stored in the positively charged sphere like the seeds in the watermelon. So this was the red color part and this were the black seeds stored inside the red part. Okay, negatively charged electrons. So from this model, he could propose two things. He proposed that the atom consists of a positively charged sphere and the electrons are embedded in it. Okay, he said that atom consists of a positively charged sphere with a positive surrounding and electrons are embedded in it. The negative and positive charges are equal in magnitude, so the atom is wholly electrically neutral. Okay, so he said that both the negative and the positive charge inside the atom are equal in magnitude. So this makes the atom electrically neutral. Okay, so then we talk about contributions for structure of atom. First was J.J. Thomson, who gave the Thomson's model of atom. Which was considered as a Christmas pudding or watermelon. Okay, so now why was this not taken forward? Okay, why do we not consider Thomson's model in this time? Okay, this was because the results of experiments carried out by other scientists could not be explained by this model. Okay, so now later new scientists came with their proposals, and whatever experiments they conducted, okay, for their proposals, they were not accepting Thomson's model. Okay, so that's the reason it was not accepted. So Thomson's model also was not accepted. Okay, now next is Rutherford's model of an atom. Okay, so this scientist Ernest Rutherford was interested in knowing how the electrons are arranged within an atom. So he designed an experiment which is called as alpha particle scattering gold foil experiment. Okay, so in this experiment, fast moving alpha particles, okay, alpha particles are positively charged, so they were fast moving alpha particles were made to fall on a gold foil. Let us see how he did that. He selected a gold foil, okay, because he wanted a thin layer as possible. This gold foil is made up of 1000 atoms thick. The alpha particles are doubly charged helium ions. Okay, so they are helium ions which have a double charged +2. Okay, they have a mass of 4 units, so they are very fast moving and they have a considerable amount of energy. Okay, it was expected that, okay, so let us see how. So these are alpha particles, this is the gold foil. Okay, this is the gold foil and these are the gold atoms in it, and these are the alpha particles which are striking the gold foil, and there is a source over here through which the alpha particles are sent. Okay, now what was expected by Rutherford? He expected that alpha particles could be deflected by the subatomic particles in the gold atoms. So we know that there are positive and negative present inside the gold atom, right? So it was positive and negative both are present inside an atom. So it was expected that the gold alpha particles would be deflected back by the subatomic particles. Okay, since the alpha particles were heavier than the protons, he did not expect large deflections, but at least some deflection. But what he saw, alpha particle scattering experiment gave totally unexpected results, completely different results. First observation was that most of the alpha particles pass through the gold foil. Okay, most of them were passing through the gold foil without any deflection. Okay, they were just passing through the gold foil. Second observation was that some of the alpha particles were deflected by the foil by small angles. Okay, so there was seen that some were deflecting. Okay, you can see over here there is one deflection, then over here there is one deflection, then here, but they were deflecting at very small angles. Okay, surprisingly only one out of 12,000 particles appeared to rebound. Only one particle, okay, one particle appeared to rebound. For example, so you can see over here this one, he just came back in the same direction. So there was only one particle which got rebound. So from this he could conclude that there was some reasoning which could be done. That, see, first we saw that most of the alpha particles were passing through. This says that most of the space inside the atom is empty, because most of the alpha particles pass to the gold foil without getting deflected. Okay, so if this was an atom, then the particles were just deflecting without any deflection. They were just passing without any deflection. This means that most of the space inside didn't have positive charge, it was empty. Okay, secondly, very few particles were deflected from their path, indicating that positive charge of the atom occupies very little space. Okay, you can see that only small amount of alpha rays are deflecting back, means that they will be deflected by positive charges, right? So this means that very less amount of positive charges are present inside the atom. Okay, a very small fraction of alpha particles were deflected by 180, indicating that all the positive charge and the mass of the gold atom was concentrated within a small volume. We can see that at the middle, when it is striking, it is just coming back at 180. So means that most of the mass and the most of the mass and charge is present inside this part, a very small volume. So on this basis, he could say that there is a positively charged center in an atom which is called as the nucleus. Okay, so Rutherford could say that could say that there was a small volume. So he discovered the nucleus, which was which had a positively charged. It was positively charged nucleus, and most of the mass was present over here. It was positively charged and it had mass. Okay. Secondly, the electrons revolve around the nucleus in circular path. Okay, so he said that electrons are there which revolve in circular path. Okay, and thirdly he said that size of the nucleus is very small as compared to the size of the atom. Very small. Okay, so if we draw this, then we can say that there is a nucleus over here which has positive charge, and electrons are moving in a circular orbit, circular path. Okay, so this was a very important breakthrough by Rutherford during his time, that nucleus was discovered, the path of the electrons was discovered. So it was somewhere acceptable, but it also had drawbacks, it also had limitations. The major limitation was with the path of the electrons. It said that the particle is revolving around the nucleus in circular path. Okay, this means that when it is undergoing its revolving, it is undergoing acceleration. Okay, acceleration means it has some velocity. So when it is undergoing acceleration, it is radiating energy. Okay, so it is moving, right? It is moving in this direction, so it is generating, it has acceleration. Okay, and so it is radiating energy, and when it is radiating energy, there are chances that it will lose energy and fall inside the nucleus. Fall into the nucleus. So this was not acceptable. This was not acceptable. This was a not acceptable model of atom, because the electrons could revolve around and fall inside the nucleus. So that would make the atom highly unstable, and hence matter would not exist in the form that we know. Okay, so we know that atoms are quite stable. So this also was not acceptable by the this was not acceptable, but what was acceptable was the nucleus. Okay, the positively charged nucleus, and the path of the electrons was still to be studied. Okay, so for today we saw the different subatomic particles Till now we have seen two subatomic particles and the two contributions of scientists in the field of structure of atom. Okay, in the next video we will be studying more contributions by scientists and further what are the other subatomic particles present inside the atom. So yes, thank you for watching my video. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel.